like, no, it reeks of inauthenticity, and it's not going to work. Like, this guy is not going to work. Charlie Kirk worked because he actually believed the things he said, and you could tell that he had put rational thought behind it. This guy is like, I mean, I don't know. Is this what an Intel asset looks like? I can't even tell, John.
Let's talk about this kid who's taking the internet by storm. He goes by the name of Brilyn Hollyhand, who I text Mark every single day and tell him it's his adopted son. But it's this kid.
No, this kid was grown in a test tube, man.
It's this kid who's taken over the internet by storm, pretty much going on college campuses doing these speaking things. And last week he goes on a tour and says that America's pretty much a melting pot and we need to allow in as many migrants as possible. But now he puts out this video today. And this is what scares me about the future of the Republican Party.
There's a cancerous ideology spreading on the right from a small but loud group I call the woke right. They scream hate and pretend it's courage. Here's the problem, though. The left didn't disavow their cancerous ideology years ago, when the squad was just a radical fringe having press conferences. And now that loud minority grew into their base, and that movement is about to elect a socialist to run America's biggest city. If we don't call out our own in the name of winning elections, this fringe will drag our party off a cliff like the squad did to the left. I refuse to let that happen to us. You can be a bold conservative without being a bitter one. We can call out bad things the Israeli government does without blaming the Jews for every minor inconvenience in our life. Just like we can call out AIPAC for bankrolling American politicians and say that should be banned. Just like we can demand secure borders while getting only the best and brightest in America without banning all legal immigration. I mean, I didn't fight to end the old establishment of the Grand Old Party and kick out the neocons just to replace it with hate. We're supposed to be the party of faith and freedom, not anger and chaos. If we sit on our hands and allow the mainstreaming of people fantasizing, idealizing Stalin, and proudly saying they're Team Hitler, we don't only lose every single election going forward by legitimizing the lie that the left says we're Hitler Jr., but we also lose the moral war that conservatives are here to uphold. Hate killed the left. If we're not careful, we're going to be next.
And folks, that's Brilyn Hollyhand Mitchell talking about winning elections. Never won an election, never worked a campaign in his life. Wants to tell us who've done it. I've done it for 15 years.
I think my 13-year-old and maybe my 10-year-old could take him. And maybe Ella, who you just saw, might be able to take him too.
She's too cute. You can't let her near him. But what do you say to this person who thinks they're taking out? Now, granted, this kid posted a picture in a private jet like 2 weeks ago, going to a Turning Point USA event that he wasn't even paid to speak at. I mean, there's just so many unanswered questions about this kid who's like making a name now for Republicans. What do you say?
The dangerous thing about that screed is that every word was carefully chosen. That was written by a genius. That had every single trick packed into it. I would have to go sentence by sentence. Like, first off, there's limited hangout. He said, go after AIPAC. So that's limited hangout. That's like, you see, I don't like AIPAC too, that we should stop that. But then he did a perimeter around legal immigration. This kid is an offshoot of the big business wing of the Republican Party. He's an info op. He's trying to steer people back to, like, the Club for Growth types. We need to make it a melting pot. It's bad for you, but it's good for our wage costs. You know what I mean? Then what else did he do? First off, he took a big old hug around what he calls anti-Semitic hate, which I think he puts his arms pretty wide, and then dumps it all in Nick Fuentes' lap. Well, here's the thing. There are angry men on the right, and they've always been there. They've been there long before Donald Trump was the thing, and they were the first people to get Donald Trump off the ground. And so the idea that you can somehow, like, ignore that and, like, stuff it back into a closet, especially in the post-Twitter world, it's not going to work. There's just so many things in there like that. Like, he's mentally gatekeeping people. He's trying to define the movement. And, like, no, it reeks of inauthenticity, and it's not going to work. Like, this guy is not going to work. Charlie Kirk worked because he actually believed the things he said, and you could tell that he had put rational thought behind it. This guy is like, I mean, I don't know. Is this what an Intel asset looks like? I can't even tell, John.
Did you say incel asset?
Oh no!
Boom! Roasted.
Oh yes! Oh God, John, you got to tweet that, and I'll. No, do it right now. I'm gonna
I'll tweet
retweet
it right now. We're gonna roll this video though because it
Intel
sounds.
asset. How about Incel asset? You got to get it quick before somebody steals it.
I'm gonna get it out, but I want to before we roll that out. I want to get to this video because it sounds he's speaking like a 75-year-old man. Not that there's anything wrong with 75-year-old men. I love them, but he's talking like he's a 75-year-old man trying to take the Republican Party back. The thing that I want to know, Mark, that and this might get taken out of context, and I hope it doesn't, but what is anti-Semitism? And to me, it seems anti-Semitism has morphed into something that is pretty much anything you say, speak out against the Israeli government, AIPAC, or any sort of mishap that's happening in that country, not the people, but the problems that are happening in that country makes you anti-Semitic. And it's getting worse and worse and worse because of people like Mark Levin, who did this terrible speech.
Admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters, American haters, Churchill haters. You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them. It's called the market system. They don't have a lifetime job like a bureaucrat who we're going to protect. And if they're your friend, there's something wrong with you. No Hitler admirer, Holocaust denier, platformer should be anybody's friend, as a matter of fact. You don't get to wrap your psychotic, mental, unhinged, Nazi, Klan, jihadist around American patriotism.
American patriotism,
John. You don't get to claim you're MAGA and America first when you're lining up with the Marxists and the Islamists and Hamas and the terrorists. That's not America first. That's sick.
So he ties in there, Mark. He ties in Holocaust deniers with anyone who's, which is my point I just made, anyone who speaks out against the Israeli government with an Holocaust denier. And I mean, you do that, it's extremely reprehensible and extremely irresponsible, in my opinion, for someone like him to know better than that. But this is the new world that we've morphed into, that anything is anti-Semitism.
Well, it goes back to Brilyn Hollyhand and the way he defined what I call woke right. You didn't coin the term, dude. Other people did. And they use that word to define people who they say are woke because they use white identitarianism to undermine the movement. But the problem is the people accusing folks of being woke right act woke. And that's the problem, is you have this reverse woke right now. And because they're misusing these terms, they're using woke tactics. They'll say, for instance, with Nick Fuentes, well, he's a Holocaust denier. How could you listen to him? It's like, how did I listen to him? Well, I went to YouTube and I pressed play. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know if he denied the Holocaust or not. Why is it my responsibility to listen to everything this guy says? Oh, well, look at this clip. He denied the Holocaust. Well, I didn't hear the context, and it's not incumbent on me to go listen to him to determine whether it's Holocaust denial or not. And it's like, let's have a nuanced discussion about that. Like, yes, the Holocaust was real. Yes, probably millions of Jews got killed, but you're not even allowed to literally discuss the facts. And so what happens is angry young men who see a psychological operation are going to push against the boundaries. That's what young men do. They have risk-taking behavior. And so Nick Fuentes did not build this movement. He took advantage of a movement that has been literally trodden on by the entire world. Angry young white men. And the fact that he's really popular now means that the angry young men are more pissed than they were just 5 years ago. If you look at search trend volume, Nick Fuentes just passed Ben Shapiro. Wow. It's really incredible. Nick Fuentes is now more searched on Google than Ben Shapiro, his freaking self. And put my screen up, John. You're talking about Mark Levin. This is unbelievable.
Oh, this was great. Because for the show, I think. Let me see.
Yeah, the young people are going to win this fight, Mark Levin. You are the legacy Republican Party. Your kind of Republicanism is dying out. Do I want it replaced with Nazis? No, I do not. Do I think Nick Fuentes is a Nazi? Well, I think he likes Nazis, but he's not a member of the German National Socialist party. You know what I mean? Like, let's be very specific with our terms, because they are not. I was called a Nazi because I won't disavow Candace Owens, and I don't even watch her shows. Why do I have to disavow Candace Owens to make you feel better about Israel? It doesn't make any sense. But he says Fuentes, and like, how he responds, John? Fuentes, if that is his name, lol, looks like I got under prepubescent little Adolf's unpure quasi-white skin, his illiterate, incoherent brain farts, and he's not incoherent. He's very intelligent. Exited the wrong end of his dwarf-like body, but he does have his committed following of gropers. He really should replace that funeral-like suit with the brown shirt like a good Nazi. As for deportation, given his mixed background, like what? He would qualify for expulsion to a number of third world countries where he could crawl back to his little dark hole like the cockroach he is. Psycho. So this is like a 70-year-old wealthy legacy Republican punching down on a 27-year-old kid.
A Hispanic kid.
Yes, with white identitarianism and racist remarks. He met anti-Semitism with racism. And look at this ratio. This is a very young post. This is like 2.5 hours old now. No, 3.5 hours old. Mark Levin got 1,500 likes. Nick Fuentes, 39,000. Oh, I better unlike that. 39,000. All he wrote was, "Are you okay?" Nick Fuentes is winning this fight. And yes, he needs to clean up his message. Yes, he shouldn't have said those things. But he's not going away. He's only getting bigger, and the Republicans have no idea at all how to handle this guy.
Yeah, Nick Fuentes I don't watch him. I don't know him. I've seen some of his stuff on Twitter. I don't know. Like I said,
I've seen one interview.
Right. It was with Tucker Carlson, as they like to call him. Never seen the kid, never met the kid, don't know anything about him, but I see his clips. And I mean, that's what makes America America and not North Korea. The fact that you have that on the internet to make your own determinations on who's credible to follow and who's not. And everyone likes different things, Mark. I love sports. You hate sports. You're not a anti-Semite, Mark, because you don't like sports. It's gotten to be so crazy. Right. And Tucker Carlson, now they're going after him, and they're not going to win the fight against Tucker Carlson. He's self-funded. Nope. He has all the money in the world. Nobody's going to cancel him. Nobody's going to deplatform him. So this is a losing battle. And you know they're losing when they go after it with the personal name calling and all that stupid stuff that the Democrats and these Brilyn Hollyhands, start doing. You know you're losing it when you cannot debate substance. Debate Tucker on substance. What did he say that you disagree with? When you generalize and you broadly call someone an anti-Semite and they're owned by Qatar, it dilutes it down, Mark, to everything they said about us Trump supporters in 2016, that we were the, quote, deplorables, right?
Yeah. That and their very thin gruel, like this Qatar stuff. Let's be real. Both Qatar and Israel do fund influencers, 100%. I've heard personal stories of people who have been literally approached by people from both countries. They do it a little different. They're each a little different. But if you, and this isn't me, just ask Grok. Just say, be objective as possible and compare all the monetary and non-monetary ways that both Israel and the Jewish people and Qatar influence American politics. And Grok will say they both influence it a lot, but Israel influences it much more for a whole bunch of sociological reasons. And then you can ask it to quantify that. But with Tucker specifically, they say, well, his flight got paid for. It's like, okay, the dude's worth like $200-300 million.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, well, Qatar funded his business. And it's like, from what I've seen, he took investments from multiple people. One of them was one of the royal family dudes. He paid him back with interest, and he has a business.
I didn't even know he took it from a royal family. He took money from Neil Patel, who was his business partner, who started the Daily Caller with him, who Tucker's known since he's 18 years old. The other guy he took money from runs a multinational corporation here in America. I think he went to Colgate University, born in America, raised in America, went to school in America. So their points are totally moot. They want to call people anti-Semites. Yeah. Well, what are you when you go based on someone who's an Arab or someone who's Muslim? I mean, that's like the connotation that all Muslims are bad people and all Arab people want to kill us. I mean, it was stupid back when people started saying it back then, and it's so stupid now.
That's right.
And I mean, it's just extremely irresponsible. I'm sure some people would disagree with me on that, but it's totally irresponsible. I mean, it's the same way of profiling someone based on the skin of their color. Nobody does that shit here in America, okay? It hasn't been done here since the 1950s, and it's never going back to that way. But somehow...
the IDF does it in airports, though. I guarantee you 100%. But all I'm saying is things have gotten so bad in America that we need to be able to have difficult conversations. And we need a place where we can be nuanced enough to say, I don't hate Muslims, but I hate radical Islam.
Yes.
And I don't mind them having a religion, but I would like to convert them to Christianity. And yet I don't think we should have Sharia law here. That's a very nuanced conversation. And I think that those are very reasonable takes, but you're not allowed to have that about certain other countries. You're just not. Brilyn Hollyhand said one of the things, right? But it's like, well, then we're going to form a unified front because we need to be this. It's the gatekeeping. The Republican Party needs to be this because this is what I say we stand for. Well, it's like, okay, you're going to lose the election.
Yeah. You know, my best friend, Mark, is Muslim. He's an Albanian Muslim. I've been best friends with him since I'm 12 years old. And his family, I've went away on family vacations with him since I'm a kid. He's my best friend till the day I die. He'll be my best friend. He doesn't buy any of this stuff. He doesn't. And you know what? He doesn't even get offended by any of it because he knows that there's factions inside of the Muslim community. Like there's factions inside of every single organizational group here in America and overseas. I mean, if a Christian person shoots up a school, Mark, we don't go out there and generalize and say all Christians are bad people because they're not. If a Muslim commits a crime, we don't say they're all bad. If a Jew commits a crime, we don't go out and say all this bad. You can't have rules one way that don't work the opposite way. And I feel like we've morphed into this society now, Mark, where it's if you're a Muslim, you're bad. If you're a Jew, you can't do anything wrong. If you're a Christian, you're marginal. You may go shoot up a school. You may not. And as a Christian myself, I'm like, how is this now the new goalpost in America?
If you did, they would blame it on the religion and not the SSRIs.
Sure.
We all know that because they make money on the SSRIs. But there is one carve out. I will say that the thing does really worry me, the shooters, but we need to be able to have a nuanced discussion because that used to be classified as, a mental disorder, which it's, probably limits your ability to have weapons. And they changed that, which I don't get. But it's like there's a very specific aspect of mental health that is worrying. And that's not because of identitarianism. It's because when you have situations like this, you have to be pragmatic about the numbers. As, in my opinion, J.D. Vance is giving everybody a masterclass in how to do that.